Our next lecture is about Article 5. However, before that, in this lecture, we will try to remember 7 principles of GDPR by way of abbreviation. These 7 principles are the core aspects of the GDPR. Entire regulation is based on these 7 principles. A GDPR specialist is expected to remember the same. Even in the job interviews, emphasis is on these 7 principles. So, how to remember these principles? I try to remember this by the abbreviation LAMI with 3L and 2S. Let us discuss full form of each. First L stands for lawfulness, fairness and transparency. Second L is for limitation, that is purpose limitation. Third L is again limitation, storage limitation. First A is for accuracy. Second A is for accountability. M is for minimization, that is data minimization. And last, I is for integrity and confidentiality. So, La Mi with 3L to A. Now, we will discuss about each of these principles in detail in our next lecture. That's all for this lecture. Thanks for watching. In this lecture, we will discuss about Article 5 of GDPR. Article 5 prescribes 7 principles that need to be followed while processing the personal data. Let us discuss each of these principles in detail. First principle is about lawfulness, fairness and transparency. Personal data must be handled in a way that follows the law and treats the people fairly. Everything about how their data is used should be clear and easy to understand. For example, a social media platform must clearly explain in simple terms how they collect and use your information when you sign up. Second principle is about purpose limitation. Data should be collected for specific and valid reasons. It should not be used for any other purpose. For example, a fitness app collects your health data to help you track your exercise level, but they cannot sell their data to an advertising company without your knowledge and approval. Third principle is about data minimization. Only the necessary data should be collected and processed. It should not be excessive or more than what it is needed. For example, an online store should only ask for your address and payment information when making a purchase, and not your entire life story. Fourth principle is about data accuracy. Data should be accurate and process should be available to update the correct and latest data. For example, if your email address changes, you should be able to update it in your account to receive the important notifications. Fifth principle is about storage limitation. Personal data should only be kept for as long as necessary. If it is no longer needed, then it should be deleted. For example, a travel booking website may keep your booking details until your trip is over, but they should delete it afterwards unless there is a valid reason to keep the same. Sixth principle is about data integrity and confidentiality. Data must be kept safe and secure from unauthorized access, loss, or damage. For example, A bank uses encryption and strong passwords to protect your financial information from hackers. Seventh and last principle is about accountability. The organization collecting and processing the data is responsible for following these 7 principles and being able to prove that they are doing so. In simple way, they should be able to demonstrate that these 7 principles are appropriately applied. So, an organization need to follow these 7 principles to comply with Article 5 of GDPR. Let us discuss some of the important aspects of Article 5. Any controller or processor must comply with all the elements of Article 5 for each of its processing operations. Other important point to be noted is, in order to be lawful, processing should comply with Article 6 of GDPR. Article 6 requires that any processing operation must be based on at least one of the 6 legal bases in the exhaustive list provided. We will discuss the Article 6 in our next lecture. Let us understand some important aspect of Article 5 by way of multiple choice questions. Question 1. Which principle emphasizes that personal data should be processed in a way that ensures protection against unauthorized or unlawful processing? Correct answer is option D, that is integrity and confidentiality. Principle of integrity and confidentiality emphasizes that personal data should be processed in a manner that ensures appropriate security against accidental loss, destruction, or damage. Let us discuss the next question. Which principle states that personal data should be processed in a manner that allows for identification of data subject for no longer than necessary for the intended purpose? In simple terms, data should be kept till the time it is required for business purpose. Correct answer is option D, storage limitation. The principle of storage limitation states that personal data should be kept in a form that permits the identification of data subject as long as it is required for the business purpose. Let us discuss the next question. You are a data protection officer of HDA Incorporated. The company has stored customer data in its database for few years. How should the company handle this as per the requirement of GDPR? Yes, correct answer is option C. Keep the data for no longer than necessary for the purpose for which it was processed. As we discussed earlier, it comes from Article 5(1)(e) that personal data should be kept in a form which permits the identification of data subject only till the time the data is required for the business purpose. That's all for this lecture. Thanks for watching.